Do you want to own a house? Most people do. In fact, almost everybody does. But the question is, can you? Can you firstly afford it? Secondly, do you want to own it right now? These are some of the questions that we'll be looking at in this masterclass. The desire to own a home and the ability to actually do that. It is now a well-known fact that rental housing is perhaps one of the biggest forms of housing in Indian cities. What I mean is that between a third and a quarter of people in Indian cities are actually living in rented accommodation. Do we do anything about this? Are there policies which support it? What does the rental housing market look like? So of course you have gone and looked for a rented house in the city that you live in. It could be because you're a new migrant. It could be because you have just, for example, moved out of your parents' house. It could be because this is not the right time for you to own a house. And the thing is that the market exists. There's a huge market out there. Maybe about a quarter to a third of Indian households actually live in rented houses. So what is the form of this market? And what does the government and what do policies do to support this form of the housing market? These are some of the questions that we'll be looking at in the masterclass on rental housing. And I hope that I'll be able to raise enough questions about this market and the way it functions. The other thing that we will be looking at in focus will be the new policies and programs around urban housing in India. And for sure, some of them mention rental housing, some of them mention the Rent Control Act and how we should be changing it, but most of them fall short on implementing what they say. Why is that? What are these challenges? These are some of the questions that we'll also be focusing on.